Welcome to the TRBusiness video channel. We are joined this afternoon by Malaysia Airport's Senior General Manager of Commercial, Nazli.
Yep.
Thanks ever so much for taking the time out of your busy Cannes schedule to join us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Excellent. So I'm just going to begin by looking back on last year. Can you just reflect on 2017 retail performance? So maybe you want to talk about some of the highlights and how it all went?
It was a bumper year for us. We grew 24%. Mainly on the tax rise of 11%, and we experimented in a lot of things last year. One of it being our campaign where we gave away a Lamborghini, and we also did a lot of retailtainment, and it was good because we recorded 2.6 billion worth of sales in the whole in the whole of the KLIA, the whole of MEHB system. And out of that 2.6 billion ringgit, 70% are duty-free. And out of that 70% duty-free, 1/3 is from the Chinese passengers. So we were blessed. We get a lot of Chinese visits. And this is a testimony of our marketing efforts, both from commercial and also from the airlines, to get Chinese passengers to come to our shores.
Excellent. And has this continued into 2018? I mean,
yes, it has.
You had a bumpy year, as you said, last year.
Yes.
And has it continued into 2018 and also with the Chinese consumers?
Yes. As at mid-year this year, we are already 10% up from the previous year. And that's a good sign, and because usually after on the second part of the year we would usually grow very, very fast. And one thing for sure, for the first time in the history of Malaysia airports, perfumes and cosmetics overtook the traditional liquor and tobacco in terms of sales and contribution to the group.
Was this a surprise to you, or something you anticipated perhaps?
It wasn't anticipated, I must admit, but we saw the sudden interest in perfumes and cosmetics, which is quite natural. There's a lot of emerging middle class where we are, India, China and Indonesia, and the more they travel, the more they shop. And we find that it is a younger demographics, and there seems to be a particular affinity towards perfumes and cosmetics.
Excellent. And also, I believe you have like a raft of tenders at the moment. Some of them, I believe, are in the pipeline, some have been released. Can you just bring us up to date, please?
Yeah, we are about to embark on what we call a commercial reset. And this will be taken out in phases throughout all of our international airports. And the reasons for this is two-pronged. Number one, we wanted to keep up with our peers, and we are also forecasting a bullish industry in the next 10 years. So we wanted to make sure that we have the right format and the right offer for the consumers. So we are taking it, we spent the last 2 years deep diving into data and trends. And we're spending the first 6 months of this year engaging with our incumbents, engaging with our brands to basically try to see it from their lenses. And this meeting that we are having here in Cannes is very important because it is a culmination of this collaboration way of moving forward. So we'll be calling these tenders in stages. We have just recently called the arrival duty-free for KLIA, and this is the first of 3 waves of tenders that's going to be taking place in the next 1.5 years. Then we'll move on to other airports, namely Langkawi, and of course the emerging Kota Kinabalu.
Excellent. And also, can you just maybe offer an insight into some of the challenges? I mean, you've clearly got you've got a prominent strategy here, but obviously there's some internal, external challenges to be taken account of. Can you just give us an overview of some of them, please?
I'm new, and I inherited a commercial market that is quite fragmented. We have to deal with multiple operators, one being our own wholly owned subsidiary, Raman. The challenge is in trying to work together and create value and do what is good for the consumers, and at the same time makes all of these people happy and well distributed in terms of market share. So we, again, we are data driven. We understand how our subsidiary performs as compared to the rest of the world, if I put it this way. So we are basically playing a pairing game so that we get the best benefit. About 5 years ago, for KLI2, we introduced international retailers, and that has proven well for us because we are able to pair ourselves and know and measure ourselves on what are international standards. And I think this is going to continue because a fair competition is a good way to go, and the market is there for us to harness.
And can you just offer, you mentioned the international retailers, can you just maybe let our viewers know, just for those that maybe haven't visited
we have Heinemann. We have Heinemann in KLI2, and they are doing very well. When we open it up to the international standards, we saw a lot of benefits commercially and also on presentation and assortment.
Excellent. And also, I know promotions are, I mean, they're a big part of your strategy. I mean, you have correct me if I'm wrong, the annual shopping campaign. Yeah. Are you planning on developing new ones, or do you stick to is it like the ones which consumers, you keep the ones which consumers know and expect on a yearly basis, like the shopping promotion is huge?
Well, 3 years ago, about 2 years ago, we changed the way forward. We concentrated instead of the whole year over 6 months, and we've done that well. We've seen the numbers. We know how that worked out. It has increased the sales per pax, and it has met all our objectives. And this year we extended the campaign by giving away Aston Martin. So far, as at August, we are doing better than last year. But in the years to come, we would like to consolidate these marketing programs. At the moment, Eraman, our subsidiary, will have their own program, and we would have our own program. And we could not consolidate because it was pre-agreed in advance. But next year, we'll see us to be a bit more focused and outreaching, as we are also putting in social media strategies to go to the source markets so that we are able to present to them what is on offer before they arrive. We have also done a lot of collaborations with e-wallets, and it has benefited us well. We've done it with Alipay and UnionPay, and it bodes well with the Chinese passengers. And in some cases, we saw immediately after implementation an increase of 25% in sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. I think that's fine. And also, you kind of touched on it just now about you said the e-wallets. I just wanted to push you on digital. Yeah. I mean, it's all about, retailers, landlords. It's important to embrace digital at every opportunity. How far down the line would you say you are with that, and what plans do you have?
We have this thing called the Airport 4.0, which is a 5-year plan. And now we are putting the infrastructure in. So we are building the big data engine, and it should be ready in the next 6 months. And once that is ready, we will plug this big data engine to all of our touch points. Yeah? So we might be going into e-commerce in a big way, e-marketplace in a big way. And you can see this coming to fruition maybe second half of the year next year.
And finally, I just wanted to push you. I mean, you mentioned a couple of the other airports. You mentioned, I think it was Kota Kinabalu and Langkawi. You've got quite a lot of. You've got several others as well in your portfolio. Just how's the retail performing across these airports? I mean, it's too easy to get lost in what's going on in
double-digit growth for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I think many reasons for that. Number one is in the case of Kuala Lumpur, instead of Kuala Lumpur, we had a low base. And there was a year where we had 3 disasters, the MH17, MH370, and also the Air Asia. So that was a trying time for us. But the upswing was quite well received. And from then on, there was continuous effort by the government to lure Chinese tourists into the country. And in 2016, of every 100 outbound Chinese tourists from China, 7 would go to Bangkok and only 2 would go to Kuala Lumpur. So we realized that, and we put all our heads together and start to focus with the airlines to get more and more flights coming in. So much so that, you know, the Kota Kinabalu and Langkawi benefited the most, because they geographically they're at the northern part of our country and closer to the Chinese market. So we find a pleasant trend of the Chinese passengers coming into the country through these northern gateways, which is Penang, Langkawi, and also Kota Kinabalu, and then went back to their country through Kuala Lumpur. So that basically contributed to the double digit. They land and they shop, and when they go to Carolina, they shop again. Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, good luck with everything. That's all these the commercial refits, the tenders. Hope everything goes well, and thanks again for your time.
Thank you.